Hello guys, I'm back with my channel History with Ishan and thank you so much for watching. And yes, I'm back after a very long time and today is an occasion. Wishing you all a very happy International Museum Day 2023. So yes, on this very special occasion, at least for the history community, for the community of museologists, historians, heritage enthusiasts, artists and the ones who come from culture or the ones who are working to preserve our culture, heritage conservationists, for them today is a very big day, and even for me, since I am interested into history. So, when we talk about museums, what do we exactly talk about? Do we only relate museums to being only a sheltered place where we see some potsherds, where we see some pottery, where we see some arms and armors, dresses of different colors and different shades and different textures, where we see small and big things known as artifacts, and where we see boards, information boards, which people or which we do not even bother to read. Are museums only related to that aspect? Are we looking beyond? And what is the importance of museum in our daily life? It helps us to understand our history, our past, from where we come from. It is a repository of knowledge, of heritage of our past. Without museums, we wouldn't be able to even know what all things existed, because there are museums, because there are galleries and there are various exhibitions that we are able to understand and look at the things that were used in the past as they are. Otherwise, it would have been just destroyed by the ravages of time. So, museum helps us to understand our heritage, understand our past, and it is very important that we increase our awareness of the importance of museums, because it is very very important for us citizens to understand that museums are the places where history is kept and can relive when you pass through any gallery. We need to understand the importance of museum because it's a repository of knowledge. And as citizens, as general citizens, we need to understand that museums and the environment surrounding museums are not just the places where we can only click selfies and click, individual portraits with sculptures and the buildings of the museum, the big dome, or if it's a small museum, only the background of it, and then we just upload pictures on Instagram or say proud Indians or that. No, we need to actually go beyond that superficial patriotism for our country, to look beyond the lens and to also understand the history behind such sculptures. So today is International Museum Day 2023, and it has been organized since 1977 by the International Council of Museums to raise awareness about museums. And the theme for this year is museums, sustainability and well-being. So how museums can act as a vehicle of sustainability, and how it can lead to well-being of various communities. How museums can be a medium through which we can collectively imagine a sustainable future for ourselves and for others. So I won't take much time now. Let me delve into the aspect of museums in terms of domestic heritage. It, as we say, charity begins from home. But in this way, in this aspect, in this context, in a bit different way. So when we are looking at museums, we see a lot of objects. But actually, if we just look around ourselves, at our homes, in our homes and in our residential quarters or apartments and villas, and everywhere we look, heritage or objects which could be kept in a museum or object of importance are there all around us. If you talk about our grandfather's property, which might include property in the sense, all those properties which all those things which are old. So I wouldn't, okay, properties perhaps may not be the right word, because properties might relate to the number of villas you have, the number of houses and all those things, the shares and everything. But the objects, the artifacts that your grandfather or a great grandfather or your ancestors from either your mother's or father's side have preserved or have used in those times. They are the ravages. They have survived the ravages of time, actually. So let me take an example of my own piece of heritage, which I'm not owning it, but I got it from my grandfather of his father, which means it belongs or it belonged to my great grandfather. So this is a coin box, and if you yeah, this is a coin box. Here the initials of my great grandfather is embellished so beautifully, DKS, and it's such a beautiful piece of heritage, domestic heritage as we call it. And you can see some sound of the coins which are there. So these are the three coins which he collected. So it is of Emperor George the Sixth, and it was in 1942. This is Edward the Seventh, and this is 19. Um, Okay, this is 1904, and this is also 1941, and it is again King George the Sixth. So these are again the proud remnants of his past, of his times. And I have two more coins, uh, 20 paisa, 10 paisa, 20 paisa from the 80s, and these coins were used and were owned by my late maternal grandfather. So these are his coins. Now I have something more to show you. This is the personal diary of my great grandfather, and here his name and his profession and his address is written, and there are various newspaper cuttings as you can see, and he also wrote his own views on various issues in pencil as you can see from here. So this was given to me by my grandfather, and I'm very proud that out of all his sons and great grandsons and great granddaughters and daughters, and I am able to preserve it, conserve it, and keep it safe within my own closet. So this was about the International Museum Day and the importance of recognizing objects of historical importance, objects of, say, objects which are important for us in terms of understanding the times and the lives and times of our uh, of our ancestors. And because these objects, people, I mean, have the tendency to ignore these objects. They want to either sell it or they want to either discard it because they don't recognize, and this is with um, a lot of people, that they do not recognize the importance that these objects hold. It's not about national or international importance, but we talk about also how it is reflecting the history, the heritage of our ancestors, how they must have lived through those times. So it's everything that's around us that's more than 100 years old or 200 years old or maybe even more than 50 years old. It's the reflection of our own past, it's a reflection of our own heritage. And it's time that we, as Indians, not only the ones who are concerned with the disciplines of history, archaeology, museology, and culture and heritage, but also everyone has to understand this thing, this principle, that everything that's around us is a reflection of history, our heritage, and of our shared social, cultural, economic, and political past. And that's why we need to make, make we need to make ourselves realize the importance of it. And when it comes to museums, we have to understand that museums are the repository of knowledge, heritage, and history, as I said earlier. And we need to visit more and more museums to get various outlooks on our Indian history. It could be also related to world history, but as far as India is concerned, there are a lot of museums. Recently, I had gone to the museum where I had wanted to go for a very long time. It's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya in Mumbai. And it's a great museum. Every gallery was beautiful. They had presented the exhibits and artifacts wonderfully with various interactive panels. And now there were televisions, but the way they had represented the coin gallery, the jewelry gallery, the sculpture gallery, it was really breathtaking. And I really like the fact that even foreigners were also interested into you know looking at these exhibits at the museum. So yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you all an International Museums Day, and I hope that you have learned something from this talk, from this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel History with Ishan for more updates on Indian history. Like, share, comment, and also stay tuned for more updates. Thank you so much. Take care. Goodbye and Jai Hind.